This is the Riot Podcast.
Hello.
Hello,
Howdy.
everyone.
Hi.
Howdy, hey, ho, ho.
Happy day, guys.
How yous doing?
They want to say what day in case whenever you're listening to this, no pressure.
No pressure. Just make sure you're doing a good job doing and being.
Thank you for listening. Hey,
Yeah.
I want to also say a quick thank you to everybody who you're texting all the time, which is great.
Yes.
We want to encourage you to remember to anytime you listen to our podcast and you want to say hi, you can text 877 to RadioU. Even if we're not in the studio, we'll still see it. Or you can email us through riot@radiou.com. But it's been great to hear from lots of podcast listeners.
It has. You can also riot.radiou.com. While you're there, you can actually find links to like our social media stuff. You can hit us up that way. We just love to hear from people.
Yeah, in case you find a story you want us to cover, or if you like a story that we did cover, you can pass it along there.
Today in the podcast, we talk about how Nikki should really get a Trumpy Bear. Followed by She-Ra on Netflix, so it feels very grown up.
It does, doesn't it? Bears and She-Ra.
Broom versus knife, Best Buy emails, talking Netflix and cancellations. Obadiah is not willing to pay to meet you. That'll make sense.
That one, yeah.
It feels a little ranty.
There was a lot there.
A little ugly.
Deeper than I thought it was going to be.
Well, you know what? It was honest because it's something I've thought about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and you can tell you've been thinking about it because you had a lot of things about it.
Say. It was not just something that I just kind of.
Nope.
said.
So we'll dive into that more.
All right, and the Golden State Warriors and Jimmy Dean.
Okay, lots of good stuff.
You guys enjoy the podcast, and I'll remind you that again. When you're listening to this, we do not know, but technically 1 week from the time we're recording this, you're going to get an opportunity to check out the RadioU Christmas channel.
Yes, we'll be hosting that, and it comes the day before Thanksgiving.
Yes, indeed. So you guys have a great week, and we'll talk at you later. Bye.
What's worse than finding grounds in your coffee? Finding grounds in your coffee while listening to the Riot. It's the worst of the Riot on RadioU.
So, Nikki, let's talk about your Christmas present.
What do you think you want to... Oh, I love it already.
You know what? That music alone told you what you're getting, didn't it?
Is it something American?
It's something very American. It's the most American bear.
What's that?
Have you seen Trumpy Bear?
Trumpy Bear. Now, I think I saw something trending on part of that, but I didn't click on it.
The internet spent a lot of time talking about old Trumpy Bear. And it did not occur to me until this morning. I was like, wait a minute. I know someone who likes bears.
I love bears.
And we're coming up on the season of giving. Maybe a good Black Friday sale.
Is it real?
Trumpy Bear was born on Flag Day and has the president's hairdo and a red tie. A lot of people thought it was a joke. That includes me. But guess what? Trumpy Bear ain't no joke, man.
It is real. I see you can find it at Walmart for $56.85.
Dude.
And it includes a certificate of authenticity.
Here's what I love about Trumpy Bear. Oh, my gosh. This commercial it's real.
That's what people... Oh, no, the bear... Oh, my gosh. The flag comes out of the bear.
Mm-hmm.
Do you notice that? Like, it's the capes, but you can stuff it into the back of the bear.
Ultra cozy American flag blanket inside.
Great.
Well, as I look at it, my thoughts are this. First off, if you have a Trump-loving conservative in your life...
They're going to love this.
You can both purchase the bear, ironically, give the gift, ironically, but they'll enjoy it unironically.
Maybe that's why people are really excited about it.
See, that's why I feel like this works on both sides. You can also buy, you can buy it sincerely for the Trump-hating whatever in your life, and you can give it to them and watch how angry they get at the gift, but you're being sincere. You can give it ironically, then enjoy it ironically, or you can give it sincerely and enjoy it sincerely.
Is he like all the different options?
There are a bizarre number of options in which this Trumpy Bear weirdly works. And, I mean, if, again, you're not a fan of Trump, it's not like he's getting a cut of any of the proceeds.
And you're getting a flag-themed blanket, which, I mean, who doesn't want that?
Oh, my gosh. There's a woman here combing its hair. That bothers me just a little bit.
You know, I'm probably going to just say no thank you. Because
interested?
I'm not into themed bears like that. It's not too much.
Some of the things that the internet has come up to in response to it are pretty great. Like, here's Trumpy Bear's lawyer bear.
The jokes just keep going.
Here's impeachment bunny.
That I think I like the most.
It's good. But, Nikki, what do you think? I get you Trumpy Bear and a gift receipt to Walmart.
I don't want to have to return things. You just give me gift cards.
Why can't I buy you a gift?
Why do you need to buy me a gift?
Because I need to express in a more permanent way my deep-seated feelings of love, respect, admiration, and friendship for you this time of year.
And a gift card doesn't say that?
No, because what that does is I'm just saying, like, here, I'm
You pick it
enabling you
yourself.
to buy new things for your vaping rig. And what I really want is to give you
a Trumpy Bear?
Yeah, somebody that you can, squeeze and hug and love and comb his hair.
Imagine if you took him voting or something. You just walk in. Again, you are supporting those that are supportive, and you're antagonizing those that are not supportive.
What do you mean Trumpy Bear can't vote?
He's coming with me.
This is a free country.
He's my support bear. He's my Trumpy
my
Bear.
Emotional support bear.
Can you imagine bringing him on a plane? People would be mad.
Some people are like, that's a racist bear. I feel threatened.
Yeah.
And other people are like, well, I'll threaten you for threatening Trumpy Bear.
And then the next thing you know, no one's getting on the plane.
The plane is delayed. No one's getting home for Thanksgiving.
It's better we just don't buy it.
You're right. You're right. I'll go ahead and back to the drawing board, Nikki.
Yeah, keep looking. Maybe see, so you bought this you might also like. Go look in the section under.
Oh, look, Hillary Bear. No, I'm just kidding. But that'll probably be out next week.
The Riot. Turn it down. And rip the knob off. Radio U.
Nikki, I want to know about She-Ra. Princess
Yes.
of Power!
So I recall She-Ra and what was it, Gem and the Holograms, which you could watch these old episodes on Netflix.
They're streaming.
So they've been around, but She-Ra is back now with new episodes from DreamWorks.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was coming soon, but by soon it was actually yesterday.
Okay.
So I think 13 episodes are there, and I watched the first one.
And?
I have to go back and watch original She-Ra because I think I was more I recall Gem and the Holograms more. But for She-Ra, you're watching it and you're like, well, it's different. It's stylized and more of there's a couple of Cartoon Network shows that it's got the same look. Almost seems like the same characters. You're just I think maybe they were saving money by that's kind
of how they updated Powerpuff Girls. I'm a huge fan of the Powerpuff Girls, the old school ones, but the new ones do feel very much like they came out of that same wheelhouse of cartoons.
So when you're watching it, and I've watched quite a lot of the cartoons on Cartoon Network, so you're like, well, wait a minute, what am I really watching? You're trying to dive into it. But storyline, it's kind of what I expected.
Yeah.
It's not blowing me away, but it's not disappointing me. Mm-hmm. So I think I'll probably try to get through all 13 episodes.
Now, as a woman, do you feel empowered by it?
I know you always say that.
No, I asked the question because
I don't feel quite like it was written in that way yet.
Okay.
But based on the trailer, I bet you it kind of will go that way, where if I don't like it, then I'm not a woman because this is supposed to be empowering for women.
Well, I've read 2 articles actually in the last, let's say, 48 hours about how She-Ra was always in the shadow of He-Man and all this stuff. And I'm like, guys,
that's not what it was.
These are not ancient characters. These are not representative.
Oppressive characters.
They're not even, I don't feel like if they're anything, they're not a representation of the patriarchy holding down the man. They're the representation of the patriarchy trying to figure out a way to get money from children.
Yes.
They're not.
That's all it was.
It wasn't
they wanted a doll that they thought the girls might like more, and then a doll they thought the boys might like more.
So, let's be clear. It wasn't about female exploitation. It was about the exploitation of children.
But sometimes nowadays, some things that are written towards a really big female empowerment are too, they're either written by men trying to do it, or
there's a lot.
There's
to
a lot
clear,
to that.
There's a lot of that.
And so it's very hard because I feel like I'm being it's just too much. It's just too much of it.
Condescending.
Yes, condescending in a non-believable way. And so I haven't gotten that yet, but we'll see where it goes.
Yeah. You know what, I just always come down on, same thing with Wonder Woman. It was hey, strong, powerful woman, great movie. Let it stand on its own.
Yeah.
But then it was just here comes this inundation of articles that are this is the way. And I don't know. There was just a real intensity about it where I was like, I feel like I got all that without you bludgeoning me with it.
Sure.
Like, I got it.
It can kind of ruin it.
Yes.
So, like I said, I'll go through the rest of the episodes, but I was surprised that She-Ra was just like, oh, here it is.
Don't turn it into salad and vitamins. Those, like things that I need to do and I have to do.
I want just cupcakes and sprinkles.
It's supposed to be something fun. Let me just have some fun.
That's 100% what I'm saying with it.
And I feel that way about pretty much all entertainment. Stop talking to me about how important it is and just let me enjoy it, okay?
Did they say, are they going to do a new He-Man? Or
They've tried to remake He-Man multiple times with little to no success.
Yeah.
So, like I'm down for it. I'm super curious about the new She-Ra show. I thought it looked cool. I don't understand. Again, I don't understand these people that are getting all mad. Like somebody was mad because she has like shorts on or something. And I'm like, what?
That's why people just like to be mad about things. You got to find something.
And in fairness, you know what? Today I'm mad about people being mad. So look.
We all have to have that one thing.
Well, based on your recommendation, Nikki.
Give it a try.
I'm going to give some She-Ra a try. Like I'm game for that.
And if anything, the episodes aren't too long, so it's all right.
Yeah, I like cartoons.
Once again, there just wasn't enough material for Best of the Riot. Actually, there wasn't any Best of the Riot at all. None. Zero. Look, it's all bad. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not bad. It's the worst. Radio U.
I've got some bad news. If you were thinking to yourself, hey, I'll just go ahead and pick up some more flavored e-cigarettes from the Juul company.
They're not going to do that anymore?
They got a little problem, Nikki. You know what? They are really, really getting looked at by the FDA for pushing Juul to teenagers.
And one of the ways that they say that, this is being easily pushed is by putting it in such fanciful flavors. Mm-hmm. They say that really that is confusing to younger people. Or more enticing.
Okay, that works better for me.
More enticing there.
I see where you're coming from because that's what the lawyers will say. Like, well, it's confusing when what they really mean is enticing.
Yeah, like they think that if you're older, would you be going for like bubblegum flavor, or is that too young? Or
but doesn't that all right? We were talking a little bit ago about condescension. Don't you look at someone that's like, oh, you're a young person, you'll like the grape flavors.
When yes, I would like grape.
My reply to that is like, screw you, man. I'm not doing that.
That's your your defiance disorder. That's all that is.
Like what? Oh, okay. So like it's peanut butter and chocolate flavored. Like now, I mean, obviously, I should have the same attitude towards the Oreo company. Like I should, but they seem to have gotten me there.
No, but they're just saying with the marketing and the advertising and the look of it and then the flavor selection of it, it is enticing.
Yeah, and I mean, like I've talked to so many people that are like, oh, yeah. So like what'll happen is like teacher ducks out of class for 5 minutes or whatever, and you can Juul right there in class because that's probably what they're doing. Well, like, it just looks like you brought a USB stick to class or whatever. And so even if like a school makes them against the rules or whatever, they're so easy to sneak in and out that you can literally Juul in class and not get caught if you do it the right way. And you look at that and it's like, man, here's what I hate about it. It's addictive, and they're selling you you're not addicted to grape. Like it's not going to be the grape that gets you addicted. It's the other chemicals.
Well, you have to realize why is the grape there? To cover up.
That's actually a great point.
Like you wouldn't be as wanting to do it if you tasted the real rainbow.
The real rainbow. So here's what's going on with Juul is that they have shut down temporarily and voluntarily. They've shut down their social media accounts, and they say they're stepping back from that because that is one of the ways they're being accused of targeting younger audiences is by being active on social media. And then they are also temporarily going to stop shipping certain flavors that are being referred to as targeting younger audiences.
Especially a younger audience.
And they're like, yeah, we don't do that. But come on. Like inside the headquarters, there's got to be people that they're absolutely doing that.
Well,
right?
That's not just with these. It's with any item.
Right.
They want you young and they want you to use a lot.
Yeah, they want you to develop brand loyalty. So in the meantime, you're sitting in class sucking on a USB stick like, when they go put that grape back out? But it's not a problem.
It's not an issue.
I don't have a problem.
Let me check their Instagram to find out.
No!
You know, like that just gets you. They want to always be, you know, like every other brand, every other company. They want to be everywhere you're looking at.
And you know what? There's nothing good for us. The only thing that's good for us, it's water.
Isn't that true? And that is so, it's a shame, isn't it?
And now they're like, don't take a water bottle because that's bad for you. You need a glass bottle.
And you can't have a straw. So
no straws.
You can only have a paper straw. Like they even bring it back even further.
Can't have anything.
We should just be drinking out of the stream.
Go stick your face in the ocean.
That's the only thing we could be doing.
But that's salt water.
You've got to hand it to Obadiah and Nikki. Anyone can eat junk food all day.
Where's my food?
But they've figured out a way to get paid for it. The Riot on Radio U.
Now, over the years, Nikki and I's relationship has had some ups and downs. She's been mad at me. I've been mad at her. Like, it's happened, but you know what?
It's rarely happened. Don't make them think it's more.
Well, like, it rarely happens, but it does happen.
Sure.
Yeah, which is normal because you take two people,
put them in a room together.
Two opinionated people, put them in the same room every day, year after year, day after day. It's really outside stresses. Like, really is what's causing it.
Or someone tries to get in and bother us.
Right. So, Nikki, let me ask you a question. Like,
yes.
Of all the things that I've done to really upset you, do you think that our relationship could survive me setting your wig on fire?
I don't have a wig. But if you did.
You think, but like if I grab the wig off your head and set it on fire.
Is there anybody else around?
You think we could get past it? I mean, I think we're out in between. Like,
Are we in public?
I think we're out in the parking lot.
We're in the parking lot?
Yeah, so I mean, like, we're not on stage.
Sure. If that was the scenario, I would be a little upset with you. Yes, you would have to pay for whatever to fix it.
So I would have to repair the wig.
You'd have to. No, I'm going to use the word replace it. Okay. So I don't want your repair.
I've got some extensions for you.
You get like yarn from the craft store. And you're like, look, it's blonde, it's yellow, it'll work.
Nobody's gonna notice.
No, it's fine. It blends in so nicely.
What's the big deal?
So yes, you'd have to replace whatever you burned.
Okay, now I don't know. Okay. Would you consider me grabbing your wig and setting it on fire escalation?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
I would.
See, I think that's fair because right now I'm looking at a fight that broke out over the weekend between two women in Baton Rouge, and we don't know what they were fighting about. We just know that it was 8:30 a.m. on a Sunday.
How can you be so angry about something that early in the morning? That's sleepy time.
I don't think I've got the energy to fight at 8:30.
Must have been a man.
Probably.
Fighting
but what
over a man.
ended up happened is one of the women they're screaming at each other. They're in their 20s, so, like, whatever. So the one woman reaches over, grabs her wig, yanks it off, and apparently is a smoker because she had a cigarette or like a lighter right there.
Ready to go.
She grabbed the wig and set it on fire. Like, that's
a statement.
I would have to prepare for that. Like, I wouldn't have the equipment on hand.
No, I'd be like, hang on, let me get in my bag.
I'll be right back.
I'll get this rope. I only have a lighter for like lighting my candles at home, and it's the long one.
Drawer in the kitchen.
It's like that grill lighter.
The candle lighter.
Yeah, that's
really,
what I'm saying. You're like, hang on, I'll go get that.
I'll be right back.
I'll show you.
So the one woman lit the wig on fire, and then the other woman stabbed her, which, I mean,
Which is worse?
I don't know, but like they both seem pretty bad.
What did she stab her with?
A knife.
You have that too in your bag?
No. But you know what? Think about this. Maybe they both ran into their kitchens. So like she ran into the kitchen and got a lighter, and the other one was like, I'll take this knife.
And then they grabs the knife.
Yeah, she got all stabby and.
See, isn't it nice?
Wait. And
we've
the
never
other
fought
woman,
like that.
The other woman got a shovel.
Where are they?
Well, I mean, they're outside. I think they're near their houses or something. So it sounds like maybe the garage was open.
Could be.
Or the shed, Like, hey, you stabbed me. I'll be right back.
What are you going to do with this shovel? Hit them or bury them?
I mean, I think, it's a twofer. So I think you hit him over the head really hard with the shovel.
No,
then
see,
you
I don't
use
wanna,
it to dig the hole.
I'd be afraid. I'd go for the shovel because I don't want to kill someone, but I want to let him know. I want him to feel it. And so I wouldn't go for the head. Again, I'd be too afraid. Hit him in the back or something.
Yeah. All right. Maybe the side.
And then
their arm.
just light the hair on fire.
Ooh, you know what's a real good question, though? If you and I ended up in a fight like that, would you rather have a knife or a shovel?
You can hit me with a shovel.
No.
I
mean, like if we go into the arena and there's two weapons.
Oh,
and you
no,
have to choose
I'll take
your
a
weapon.
shovel. I think I'd rather have a shovel.
So you wouldn't take, you're telling me that, why the shovel?
I think I can have better chance of contact.
Yeah, but the thing
and
is,
then
like,
farther away, like you'd have to get up close if you had a knife.
Be about reach.
Yeah.
But the only thing about that is like, you better land that shovel hit in the right place. Or once I get close with the knife, like...
But I got a better chance of landing that hit. But you know what? We don't have to worry about that. We don't have any of that stuff here, and I don't think we'd ever escalate to that.
And
we only hurt with words.
Which, they say those are worse.
They stab just as bad.
I'll tell you right now, if my choice was like, hey, you can have this shovel or words... Like,
still want the shovel?
I actually want the shovel over words. Yeah, I think so.
Well, see, for us, though, we talk so many hours each day that you just can't be mad. Like, we don't have that. They just seem to be pent-up anger.
It's true.
You just need to talk it out.
You know what I want to know? I just want to know if you guys want to get in 8772 Radio U, the age-old debate, shovel or knife. I mean,
you've undoubtedly, the question of the day, right?
You've undoubtedly been thinking about it. Now you finally have a place.
What would you do? Hashtag shovel, hashtag kitchen knife, or hashtag light the wig on fire?
Leftovers from the most disgusting meal you've ever had. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
It is the riot on Radio U, 8772 Radio U. Want to say hey to Jerome. He called in on the knife and shovel debate, which I know is very important.
It is.
If you didn't catch it, I was wondering if you had to get in a fight with somebody, would you rather have a shovel to defend yourself or a knife? And to be clear, in my mind, it's not a little shovel. It's like a full-on, full-length shovel. And
what's the knife then?
The knife is, I'm thinking like a butcher knife, kitchen knife kind of thing. Yeah.
And you're like, where did this come from? Well, because two women were fighting and they each had those items. So it came from the news.
Yeah, Jason texted in a knife duct taped to a broom. Jason, you're getting too elaborate. That wasn't in the question. Because, I mean,
one or the other.
It's really a question of, would you rather have reach or lethality? Like, can you get in close enough to use the knife, or do you end up having to use the shovel?
But with the shovel, you can smack away the knife.
You maybe, but see, I think you're overestimating your skill with that shovel.
It's because I don't fight, so I'm just not sure. I don't think I could do it.
Well, Nikki, I think you and I are going to have to get
involved
in
garden, so I don't use shovels a lot. Just not comfortable.
Do you have a shovel at home right now?
Yeah. Our house has one.
Yeah. So Eric has one.
Eric has one, yeah.
So when you say that we dug some holes this weekend, what you really mean is Eric dug holes this weekend.
Yeah, but I mean, I go out and find the placement of it and help with that.
Supervise.
That is a team effort to know like where the hole should be at.
So someone's the brains and someone else just does what
it's teamwork.
Okay.
You're confusing that.
Yeah, I sure am. Carl says, shovel or knife? How about a big juicy steak?
Oh, then everybody's fine.
What do Nikki and I say time and time again? When you've got a piece of pizza in each hand, you can't make a fist.
Can't be a war,
when
can there?
When your hands are full of pizza, you can't make a fist. Or in this case, steak. But you get the idea. So really,
I could cut a steak depending on the quality with the shovel. So you could have a shovel and a knife and just eat dinner.
So I think what it really comes down to is that you want to sit down, and when that fight starts, just say, you know what, hang on. We're going to order a pizza. It'll take 25 minutes for it to get here.
Let's just talk.
Then we're going to eat pizza. And when it's over, let's see if we're still upset enough to do this. So DJ says, I suppose I'm not a trained shoveler, but I'm with Nikki on reach.
Better to have the reach to knock it out.
I like the idea of there being an ancient martial art that involves shovels. It's got to be out there, right?
I'm sure there is. You ever see the one, the weapon where it's like the long rod that kind of wobbles and then it's got the knife at the end?
Oh, yeah.
That sort of thing.
So it would be like that, but not as wobbly and not as sharp.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, well, I think we're done talking about weapons.
Think Obadiah owns too many video games?
Get us out of here! Roger that!
Well, maybe you'll think differently when... Okay, you're right. There's no conceivable scenario where anyone needs that many. The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, this is big.
Yes.
Like, it's big.
Is this your email?
Yeah, I got an email from Best Buy this morning. I have a certificate here that if I print it out, and this certificate only works for me. Okay, I can't give it to you. I can't give it to anybody else.
Just for you. What are you getting?
I don't know. but it could be worth up to $5,000.
Oh, so like if you go in and use it, you'll find out what it's worth?
When they scan it, they'll tell me the value.
Oh, what are you going to do?
It's worth at least $5, but it could be worth $5,000, which we all know means
it's probably going to be $5.
It's worth $5.
Yeah, but is there something that you want for, that $5 will take the edge off, or?
Well, Nikki, now we're in the game. Do you know what the game is? The Black Friday pricing game?
Yes, I know. But and so you have to go into the store. It's not like you can.
Oh, can't use it online.
Can't use it online.
Gotta go in.
Do you feel like it's a trap then? Like, why do they want you desperately to go into the store?
It is absolutely a trap. So now, you know what I need to do is I need to read through, like, what are all of the things that are
like if it's $5,
what are all the exemptions?
What do you have to buy? What's the price to purchase something to then have $5 off?
So, like, for example, I don't think you can use it on anything that Apple makes and stuff like that.
Jason just texted. He got one too.
No, you didn't, Jason.
Why don't you and Jason go together?
No, you didn't. You didn't get one because you're not special like me.
It's just Obi.
I'm the special customer. It's me.
Why don't you, and I know we have quite a few Best Buy employee who listen, maybe you could just stop by and they could just scan it and tell you ahead of time.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the deal. I did some research, and apparently people have just started comparing their the little numbers, the UPC numbers or whatever, and it looks like I did get a $5 certificate.
What a shock. I thought you'd get the $5,000 one for sure.
$5,000 for sure, right?
Oh, that's a shame.
For sure it was going to be that.
Let's see, it was Jason. If you want to send us a picture of your gift certificate, we'll look up what yours is worth.
I think what I'm probably going to do is I've been thinking about getting Interstellar on 4K Blu-ray, and it's not going on sale for Black Friday.
The movie Interstellar?
Yeah.
Which one was that one?
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
And Catwoman.
Halle Berry?
No. Catwoman from Dark Knight Rises. Anne Hathaway.
Okay.
And Michael Caine and Jessica Chastain.
Gotcha.
And a brief appearance by, I can't remember his name. But
what was the Matt Damon one then?
Matt Damon is in Interstellar.
Okay, he's in that one too.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought that was on Amazon. Maybe you don't have to buy it.
Well, it is on Amazon, but this is the new 4K transfer that was overseen by Christopher Nolan.
Just use your $5 off on that.
That's what I'm thinking
the plan.
about it. I'm thinking about it, yeah. So we'll see, right? But it feels like cheating to dip into the Black Friday envelope before Black Friday.
Sure, but I mean, you have a coupon.
I've got a $5 off certificate.
You are so special.
How can you resist the savings?
Let's take all of the most mind-numbing things the Riot has ever said and play them again.
It's a stupid idea, but I love it.
It's the Riot on Radio U.
Listen, something the Riot understands, aside from texting us at 877-2-RADIO-U or calling the number or checking in at riot.radiou.com. These are things we understand. Of course we do. But something else we understand is ketchup. Ketchup is important.
So someone in this room, maybe on the other side of the table, has a love for ketchup.
I do. It is not as pronounced as maybe it once was.
You used to have not
gallons.
Buckets, but you would go eat at a restaurant and then here's a plate for your food and then here's a plate for the ketchup. Mm-hmm. You always wanted to have a lot of ketchup.
Tons of ketchup. What changed? At some point along the line, I was like, I don't need all that ketchup.
I think when you did that detox thing, maybe you lost some of the passion for the ketchup.
I will say, though, I do feel like Halloween brought some of my sugar love back, which I probably need to divorce myself of.
Curve back, yeah.
The love for ketchup is not what it once was.
You still like it, but you just don't have as much.
Yes, it's very, very true, which is why when I read a story like this, I feel like I understand this woman in a way that a lot of people don't, and I feel like she deserves a little more slack than she's probably going to get.
I mean, they're portraying her as like a monster, but we understand maybe the passion that she's feeling about the ketchup item.
So it goes like this. She finds herself in Santa Ana, and she goes through the McDonald's drive-thru. It's after 11 o'clock at night, and she's very specific. She's very specific, Nikki. She orders, she's like, I need extra ketchup. I need ketchup. Can I get extra ketchup? And they're like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll get you your extra ketchup. But then, of course, what ends up happening? She doesn't get her ketchup.
So she was in the drive-thru. What do you do then?
Man,
do you go back through the drive-thru, or are you more serious about this?
Right there. Who among us cannot identify with? You're very specific about your order.
And that's
how many
the part they
times did
missed.
you say it? They still didn't get it right.
So this was on October 27th. So what she did is then she decided to enter the McDonald's.
Reasonable.
Okay, to then maybe request the ketchup.
Reasonable.
But she doesn't go in the other way, the way everybody else does.
Okay, all
I don't
right.
know if maybe the McDonald's, only the drive-thru was open at that time. I'm not sure. But she goes in the back door, which is used by employees only.
Probably unreasonable, but understandable.
So then the McDonald's manager said, hey, you're not allowed to be in the building. And that's when the customer became combative.
Well, yeah, I mean, she's being confronted right now.
She's being confronted.
Okay.
She had asked for ketchup. They didn't,
She didn't get
it.
her ketchup.
So now there's footage of her basically pushing, punching, and choking the McDonald's manager near the drive-thru window.
Hang on.
And yeah.
Judges, can we get a... Are you guys sure that's really what you want to... All right.
No, you're not allowed to do that.
Apparently punching and choking, not okay.
You're just not allowed to. So in the video, they also see other employees trying to get the woman off the manager, but she just she went ketchup. She just went full ketchup.
You never go full ketchup.
You never go full ketchup, but she did.
Oh my gosh.
Now they're trying to, I believe, find her because another employee came up, grabbed her, took her out to the front door, and then she left from there. So they are asking for help to try to find who this woman is.
Okay. Nikki, here, this from Dylan in North Carolina. Obi, I put ketchup on my ketchup.
You love it that much, right?
See, and that's why,
That's
Nikki,
that passion.
I'm telling you, in the ketchup community, even though they've released a photo of this woman, we know who she is, but we're not going to condemn her. I mean, we're in all the same.
Are you going to hide her if you know who she is?
Subreddits, Facebook groups, whatever. It's like, yeah, but I'm not going to turn her in because she just all of us have had difficult ketchup moments with people who are not a part of the ketchup community.
When you go through the drive-thru and you just care about one thing, that's all you want them to get right.
And were you not specific?
You
were
were
you not specific?
You did everything you asked for the ketchup. You asked, and that's what you needed. And then, of course, that's the thing that they end up messing up, and she just lost it.
I totally get it.
But if you're in the Santa Ana area, they are trying to find her.
Yeah, so that means all of you in that area be ready to shelter one of your own.
Now you go to Costco, you find the lady who's in the big ketchup.
You know it's her.
Like, she's there because she's just trying to get more.
The police are staking out that spot. They're just like, they've got a rotating surveillance because they know eventually that lady's coming through and buying ketchup.
Well, it'll only take a little bit of time, but I'm sure one of her friends will tell on her.
Dude, you know what? You just got to keep raising the reward. A year's supply of ketchup. I got a call.
You remember that time you started your morning with a gas station breakfast sandwich and immediately regretted it? Yeah, it's like that. The Riot. RadioU.
Want to say hi to PR in Massachusetts.
Good morning.
He says his name is Ralph, but everyone just calls him PR.
That's a good nickname.
Sure. I'm fine with this.
Hey, by the way, it's been nice to hear from a lot of new listeners and just people from around the United States. Lots of different listeners in different locations.
PR says he listens to the Riot podcast while running in the dark each morning and can relate to many of Obadiah's stories. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Anybody...
Is that not as good?
Anybody that feels like they can identify with me, all I have to say is, I'm sorry, and I'm sure things are going to turn around for you.
It's too bad.
Don't worry about it. There's a bright light on the horizon.
Well, if you've never texted before, feel free to, and just include your name. You just send it to 877 RadioU and say hello and let us know where you're listening at.
Nikki, did you ever finish watching The Good Cop?
I watched another episode last night. I think I'm 4 or 5 in.
Look at you.
Not really fast. It's got Josh Groban and Tony Danza in it.
It had Josh Groban and it had Tony Danza.
Is it not getting picked up for a second season?
There's not going to be a second season of The Good Cop.
I really had high hopes for it because it's from the creators of this older show called Monk. Yeah. And I used to love the style and the humor of Monk. But you got some of the style, but like not anywhere close to the humor of it in this show.
Yeah.
But it wasn't anything bad. It was just a lighthearted cop drama.
Not good enough.
Not good enough.
Yeah, so it is not getting picked up for a second season.
Netflix is being tighter on that.
Here's what I think is a lot of times when shows get canceled, it's like, well, maybe Netflix will pick it up. When you're a Netflix show and you get canceled, you are screwed. You are screwed. That's it. Like you started on the last stop.
Maybe they don't want to continue.
Maybe they don't.
Maybe it's them that said, you know what, let's just not. Like the actors don't want to do it, and maybe it was just meant to be a one season thing only.
Just let it go. It's no big deal.
Oh, it's too bad. I mean, now I feel even less momentum to finish the episodes.
But that's okay, Nikki, because on the heels of this announcement, there is one show in my repertoire that defies my harbinger of failure status.
That actually does well?
That keeps coming back. It does just well enough.
What show is it?
Travelers.
Travelers
season 3 on Netflix, December 14th.
Well, look at that. Woo! Was that the sci-fi show or the one that was somewhere else?
I love that show.
And then Netflix picked it up?
I'm pretty sure it's a Canadian show. And it's probably airing in Canada and just shows up on Netflix.
Sure.
I love that show, dude. I love it. So I am excited. In fact,
look at that. This is an interesting turn of events as we sit here. The show I was watching has been canceled and the show you're watching is continuing.
Nikki, you got the stink of failure now.
All right. But I love the show, so it's not like I'm crying about it.
You have the stink of failure and I am successful.
You have the that smell of success.
Oh, yeah. I pick all the winners now, guys.
I'm still trying. Like, I have so much in my queue, and every day I say to myself, you know, if we just work a little
bit each day
on our Netflix queue and try to watch one episode of this or that, but I'm just still trying to find a show like I really like.
You know what's funny about that? What I'm doing right now is I feel like I haven't, everything I read is fiction or for the show. Mm-hmm. And so I've been making myself do 30 minutes of nonfiction reading every night. So you know what?
It's just work.
You need to do 30 minutes
of Netflix
every night.
I don't know. If anybody has any show that's not like all the ones that everybody else is pushing, just text or send it to us so I can add it.
So you can go ahead and throw that on there.
Well, I want to try to branch out. Netflix only pushes certain things at me.
Okay.
So
well,
I need a new show.
You saw the new She-Ra?
I did, yeah.
Look at you expanding.
I started that episode.
So Olivia wants to know if you've watched Zoo.
Zoo?
What's that?
Well, we should look that one up.
Must be about animals. That sounds like something you'd like, Nikki.
Yes, it does.
You're hearing it for the first time, and it sounds terrible.
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
I guess we'll talk about TV shows if we want to.
Boy, Nikki, ask people about Netflix and then watch the just text messages explode.
Yeah, but have your buzzer or your bell ringer in case someone is suggesting something we're not going to do or if maybe we're going to.
I'll tell you what, Nikki, since I'm manning the bell and the buzz, why don't you read the texts and let's go?
Well, Tiffany texted, said, not sure if I like creepy shows, but on Netflix, The Haunting of Hill House.
We're not even buzzing. We're blowing up.
That's one we talked about a few weeks ago where what was the vomiting term or the term with people were saying...
Oh, terror vomit.
Terror vomit because they were so upset about it. So
we are thankful for that.
I don't know, Tiffany. I don't think I can do that. Person did not add their name, but they said The Bodyguard. We started the first episode on that. It's a BBC show, and it looks so good.
I am almost at the end of the second episode.
Yeah.
It's very good.
That one, they said they finished it, and it's so good. That's possibly the guy that might be the next James Bond.
That's the rumor.
But it's super good.
It's better than I expected. A little bit of language. I actually think that some of the words that we think are really bad in the UK, they're not. They aren't.
But then they have ones that we would never say.
They have words that we're like, what? That's not bad. And they're like, you shut your filthy mouth.
You can't possibly say that.
It's kind of weird.
Let's see. Garrett said The Last Kingdom. That's a favorite.
I don't even know what that is.
Is that a Netflix one too?
I mean, I guess so. The Last Kingdom.
Let's see. I want to double check these shows first before I go saying anything.
The Last Kingdom, yeah. Oh, okay. Philip. No. Not what was who just texted in the Frankenstein Chronicles? I put that in my queue. That looks interesting.
Which one's that one?
Frankenstein Chronicles, it's like I'm pretty sure it's a British show that they bought and brought over. But the idea is like it takes place at the time of Dr. Frankenstein and like.
Is it Netflix?
It is on Netflix. But I watched like the first 20 minutes and it's super gross. But in that like, well,
it's cool.
No, like in that you know how like there's gross where they're like stare at it, it's gross, and then there's gross where like they're just nonchalant about it. Like
sure.
We're down in the morgue and there's just a lung laying out, no big deal. It was like that. It was like that
type of gross.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rambo and OKC said Castle Rock. Did you ever finish Castle Rock?
I watched one episode of Castle Rock.
And then Rachel in Texas. See, that's all. Do you hear everything we've said? It's literally
Everything
been
is one episode.
Sorry, Netflix and every other streaming service. Rachel in Texas texted in. Good Cop liked it as well. Sad to hear that they're not doing a second season. And then suggests Elementary, which is, that's the CBS one.
I watched a whole season of that.
That was it then.
I watched a whole season.
So thank you for texting in. We appreciate hearing from everybody.
Yeah, so lots of people getting in. But yeah, our MO is we'll give you an episode.
That's
sometimes
all we can
two.
do. That's about it.
Yeah, all right. The other one I watched on Netflix was Collateral.
Mm-hmm.
That was another British show, only 4 episodes, and it doesn't have like a sequel or whatever, but that's really interesting.
And then Chuck Jukes texted in Nightfall. I've been seeing that's been pushed to me a few times, but it's the night one on Netflix.
Dude, outside of the Batman storyline.
You haven't seen that one in your here's what we're suggesting for you section.
After the Crusades end and defeat, a veteran knight becomes master. But well, this looks like something I would like.
You would like it? It looks good.
I literally have never seen this pushed to me, and this came out last year?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Chuck, for texting in, too.
I want to watch Outlaw King. That looks kind of cool.
The Chris Pine one?
Yo, man.
It's in my queue.
Sure it is.
Just haven't had the moment.
Well, and given our watching history, we'll probably watch about 15 minutes of it.
Well, next week, Thanksgiving. We'll try to get through some of it then.
Nikki and Obadiah. Obadiah and Nikki.
Love, hate, hate, love.
All right, everyone in, let's go!
It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
So off air, Nikki and I were talking about something that I want to talk about, but first, I have got to say what's up to Tiffany. She texted in. She was the one that wanted us to watch The Haunting of Hill House on Netflix.
Yeah, we know better than that.
And we were like terror vomiting, and she was like, I can't see anyone terror vomiting. Probably just a marketing ploy. Tiffany, first off, I love your response. And second, I love the idea that people at Netflix were like, okay, how do we convince people that this is so scary? Tell them someone got so scared they threw up.
No, that came from Twitter, though.
I want to throw up during it.
At least you feel like that was organically from people who just tweeted after watching it. But she said watch it in the morning, and she just watched a Disney movie after it.
Nope. Still out. I've got 2. My recall is too good.
I know. You understand, and I don't watch a lot of scary things, so I don't know why or where it started from. But if I sleep in bed, I have to be facing, I have to sleep watching the door just so that, you don't feel weird or you just feel nervous everywhere, even if it's a dark room and you're like, why am I scared?
I can't sleep with the door open.
Yeah.
I can't.
You just get nervous.
Fact, at some point when I was a kid, I can't remember how old I was, but I told my mom, I was like, I have to start closing my door. And she's like, why are you closing your door? And I was like, I can't sleep with the door
open. But what
open.
was the turning point from innocent OB thinking, yay, the door's open, it's dark out, to realizing, oh my gosh, something's going to kill me?
Actually, you know what it was?
What movie was it?
I don't think it was a horror film. I think it was going to school and them talking. I went through a period of time where I was convinced we were going to die in a fire. I know, it's real exciting.
That's dark.
I know, right?
Wow.
I became they taught us about fires and tornadoes. I was sure I was going to die in a tornado in my sleep.
Oh, poor little OB.
Very young. I was very aware of a lot of things at a way too young of an age. But I was afraid that if there was a fire, the fire would get right into my room. So I wanted to have the door closed so at least I would have time to fashion a robe from my sheets,
did you?
And then attach it to my bed, and then I would be able to climb out the window and maybe live. Touch the door handle if it's hot. Don't open the door. Nikki, at school, they were giving us vital survival information. This was not just something they said in passing.
Scaring you to death.
That's right.
Aww.
Which is why I watched The Haunting of Hill House, and what happens? That same 5-year-old kid that's convinced he's going to die in a fire, I'll watch that and be like, there are ghosts from my past that are no doubt inhabiting my home, and so therefore I must be prepared at all times of the day of night to confront the supernatural.
So even watching it in the light of day won't help.
So I've got my crucifix, my holy water. I also have this stake along with silver bullets and
garlic.
So you can see that, and I know that's all vampire and werewolf stuff, but they're probably real too.
No, it's just we want something that's a little bit more casual,
right.
Not tormenting.
Right. Yeah.
So we're just going to keep looking for a new show to watch.
And now, because of that, I now have a bucket by my bed in case I terror vomit. Just in case. Because, I don't want to die in a fire because I terror vomited and I wasn't quick enough to get out the window.
You're so afraid. The firemen come in, they're like, what's this bucket for?
What? That's just in case I vomited in terror, but I didn't want you guys to have to step in it.
Okay. This has all said a lot. There's a lot that's come out during these last couple of minutes.
Man, you failed to plan. You planned to fail.
You're not getting out.
Come on.
I understand with your terror vomiting bucket. So, okay.
I need a second. But I want to talk about that thing.
How do you sleep at night with all that going on in your head?
I do have a case of overexcitability, I think they call it.
And you take a lot of melatonin?
Your morning, but without yelling, laughing, or music.
Don't deprive me of that.
We wouldn't dream of it. It's The Riot on Radio U.
Here's where I'm at. I've got a weird divide in my brain on something. I know, myself included, working in the entertainment field, I get the fact that despite what you think, it is actually hard to make money in entertainment. Because for the most part, you have got people that are so high up the scale that they are making insane amounts of money. And then most everyone else is either making nothing or is just kind of barely squeaking by. And they're looking for a way to make a little extra money.
But a majority are in that group.
And I totally get that, can appreciate it. To a certain extent, live in that space. I understand what that means. I get it. We assume, part of the problem we as the general public is anytime we hear anybody on the radio, see them on TV, watch them at a concert, whatever, we just assume that the guys that are playing the bar on campus are making just as much money as the band that's playing the stadium because they both have albums and they both have guitars. They must be rich. And it's not true. I get that. However, here's my thing. I'm not willing to pay to meet somebody.
You're just not going to do it.
I'm not. I had a friend that we went to a concert together and it was their birthday. And I bought them VIP tickets for their birthday to this concert and didn't think a thing of it. I was like, yes, I want you to get to do everything they have. It's a big gift. I want you to have everything. Here's this. It was fine that they did that. And it was fine that I bought those tickets. It was fine. But there's this part of me that's just I'll do this. I get it, whatever. But when it's my turn, I'm not paying to meet you.
So not even you went to Mystery Science Theater?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about.
So not even for that?
Nope. I was not willing to pay to meet those people. And again, I get it. I understand, people charge for autographs, all this stuff. I understand why all that happens and how it works. Because, you charge for an autograph because collectors come in. Your autograph adds $100 of value to the item that you sign. It seems fair that you should be able to receive some of that money. I completely understand that. But at the end of the day, I'm not willing to pay to meet somebody because at the end of the day, if you don't want to meet me, I don't want to meet you.
Sure.
Which, again, whatever. It's kind of like if this is so dumb, but this is how far down it goes. I wouldn't want a girl to go on a date with me out of some kind of obligation.
Yeah.
She's my mom's friend's daughter and they know how lonely I am. So I don't want to go out on that date. I don't want to pay for an escort service. I've got this big event coming up. I need someone to go with me. I pay $100 and they show up and I'm not paying for someone's time. I wouldn't pay Nikki to have coffee with me. Nikki, I need a friend. I'll buy you coffee. Just come and hang out with me.
Just please.
And as a result, I'm not going to pay to meet Jonah, whatever, from Mystery Science Theater or anybody. It's look, you know what? Meeting you is a privilege, but guess what else? Beating me is a privilege too. And so, why don't you pay to meet me? Well, that's ridiculous. Ha ha! It is, isn't it? It's absurd.
You've thought a lot about that.
I have thought a lot about it because, again, I just was in a position to buy tickets.
But to the person you bought tickets for, they just might be different, and that was something that they wanted.
Right. It was, and of course, all of this thought that went into, I didn't even think about when it was for them.
Yeah.
But when it's for me, it's just
not interested.
Listen, if you don't want to meet me, you're saying that in order for me to meet you, I have to pay you for the privilege of your time. Nope, I'm not doing it. And I also get the idea of like, well, I want to support them, so I'm going to give them some extra money, whatever. Nope, can't do it. If you don't want to meet me enough to come out and meet me, I'm not paying to meet you. Sorry, I'm not doing it. So anyway, I had to get that out.
Did you?
I needed to get it out.
And that is fine. You know what? That's what the show's here for.
And you know what? I didn't charge you guys to say it. And if you wanted to, you could have left. And that's fine.
You just had to get it out.
Believe it or not, the Riot doesn't have an endorsement deal with Nabisco. They just keep talking about all the new Oreo flavors for free. It's the Riot on Radio U.
There's a movie that came out a long time ago that nobody liked, but I kind of liked. It's called Solaris. It's got George Clooney in it, who you hate, Nikki.
Oh, I just don't understand. We just don't get along in a actor to movie watcher relationship.
It was a remake of a Russian movie, and I completely understand why people didn't like it. And if you want to know the truth, I've never gone back to it. I've seen it one time. But there's this idea in the movie that I have thought about over and over and over again. And the idea is, do we really know people? So like in this movie, it's like this planet recreates people. So if it's somebody that you, like his wife had died, but she keeps showing up on this space station, but he keeps meeting her and he's like, you're not her, you're not right. But he kind of figures out that this is basing his wife on memories of her. But he's like, my memories of you don't add up to who you really were. And I know that's kind of heady for Wednesday morning. I get it. But these are the things
Take a deep breath and just go with it.
These are the kinds of things that I think about. But like when I spend time with people, I think about it, like, okay, what are people really like? So, let's say somebody that you go to school with and you go to a study group with them or something. You know what they're like at the study group, but like, you know what they're like at home? Do you know what they're like when they hang out with their parents, when they hang out with their boyfriend, when they hang out at the library? Okay, maybe you do know that one. But you know what I mean? Like all these different contexts and all these different places where different things come out of us. And you start to wonder, how much do I really know somebody? Take it a step further. This idea of like, are they a bad person that did something good? Or are they a good person that did something bad? All those kind of judgments that we make on people. And here's where I get a little bit of relief from this very windy maze that my brain goes through, is that there is one person that I can count on 100% to know me for who I really am. Nikki maybe doesn't get 100% of who I am. Maybe you don't, but God does. Do you know that Jesus knows who I really am? He made me. He's with me all day. He knows about the things that motivate me. He knows about the things that I struggle with. He knows about the times when I wanted to do really good and I didn't. And he knows about the times when I did really good and didn't want to. He really, truly knows me. And there's a ton of comfort in that because not only does he know me, but he loves me. Because, if Nikki knew all of it, maybe she wouldn't love me, right? If you knew everything about me, maybe you wouldn't love me. Maybe you wouldn't want to meet me. Think about that. Well, you know what? God does know everything about you. He does love you, and he does want to meet you. If you've never started a relationship with God, know that you are completely known and you are completely loved, that you are completely forgiven, that you are completely welcome. God wants all of you in his family right now. So just say it, Jesus, I want that. I want to know you the way you know me. I want to start a relationship with you. Come into my life. Fill me with your spirit. Show me how to live. Teach me. And man, God literally wants to teach you how to do day to day and be with you every step of the way. He knows you and he loves you.
Turn it up loud enough and your neighbors will call the cops. Because it's obviously a cry for help. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
Listen, I get tired sometimes of brands just branding everything. I can't buy a T-shirt without a brand or a logo on it. Can't buy it. And in fairness, I pay extra, so it's fine to get a brand on a T-shirt. I love it. I do it. But then you roll your eyes. But I'll tell you what, in a land where brands are on everything, this might be the best branded item.
I think
it's
a really great idea. So you're getting close, Thanksgiving's next week, and you're maybe in your wheelhouse of like starting to try to look for Christmas presents for people.
I bought my first Christmas present of the year on Monday.
A lot of times this is the time that everybody's going to try to start finding stuff. So what do you do if you find a present for someone? Then you have to wrap it.
Yes,
if you
do.
Actually found a physical item.
So then you
What do
wrap
you do
it up
then?
in some Jimmy Dean sausage wrapping paper, which smells like Jimmy Dean sausage.
That's a great idea.
The only thing that's not great about it is you come downstairs expecting Jimmy Dean sausage to be cooking,
but it's not,
and it's just presents.
So you
better.
You can purchase it's gift wrapping paper, and there's a couple of options, and there's a sausage ornament, a holiday sweater apron. You've got a couple other things that you can maybe get a hold of. But yes, the wrapping paper does smell like their sausage does.
Fascinating.
So that's their gift exchange website that they're calling.
Don't you love sausage? It's so good. You know what I like to do is I like to buy Jimmy Dean sausage patties, and then you go a couple of aisles over and you get yourself some of those Pillsbury, like flaky biscuits. And then you put those in the oven, you fry up the sausage, and then you go over and get some Kraft singles. Mm-hmm. And then you crack open those freshly baked biscuits, you put a Kraft single in there, and then you drop a Jimmy Dean sausage, and you've got probably the best sausage biscuit you've ever had in your life.
That could be it. So for the Jimmy Dean recipe gift exchange, you have to learn, like, you can't buy the gift wrapping paper, but you can possibly win it, and then it's free. So the wrapping paper, the ornament, the apron, some holiday records, and then you have a chance to win a diamond-studded gold belt buckle that I guess the Jimmy Dean guy used to always wear.
Let me guess, Nikki. It starts by me giving them all my personal information.
Pretty much. You're probably buying some sort of sausage item.
And then you're able to start.
That seems like that'd be the contest rules.
You know what? Screw it. I'm just going to buy regular wrapping paper, and I'm going to get some Jimmy Dean sausage.
Just rub it on the grease.
Just rub it on there.
It'll be fine. Or aren't you supposed to like dry the sausage off a little bit after you cook it?
There you go.
Just use the wrapping paper to do that, and then it'll stay smelling like that.
You get some of the grease out of there. You know what? I think that's a great idea.
Problem solved. You don't have to even try for the contest.
If Nikki sounds a little bored this morning, it's because Obadiah is still talking.
Too much talking.
It's the Riot on Radio U.
Talking.
Nikki, how excited are you about the Golden State Warriors?
They're not my favorite team, but no hate towards them, just not my favorite.
You might hate them after this.
Why? What are they doing?
Dude, this is amazing. Okay, the Golden State Warriors are selling out constantly. Like, it apparently is incredibly difficult to get tickets to see this NBA team play. But let's say that you still want to go and be a part of what's going on.
Do they have a lottery or something?
For $100 a month, I can get you a stadium pass. A stadium pass will allow you to come into the stadium for the games. You can go to any of the restaurants that you want.
I know what the butt's going to be.
You can hang out anywhere you want.
But
you can't go in and watch the game.
There's no place for your butt to sit down on.
That's exactly right. But they say,
I wouldn't think like people just loitering around but never having a seat.
They see you as a potential revenue stream.
True.
Because they pay to put you in the building, and then you have to pay for everything else. You want to eat, you want this, you want that. You're just another patron that they can use to get the cash.
And if you can never get seats, at least you're there and you're in the moment, and you can at least, like, it'll be on Instagram, so you're using your social media.
They say all over the building will be TVs showing ESPN where you'd be able to watch the game with other fans and be a part of the excitement. You just can't go into the actual game.
So you can't even, because sometimes I know with some stadiums you're like, well, the seats are taken, but they're like not really. But when it comes to the game, so they check tickets when you go in.
I mean, I guess, but I'm telling you,
meaning like they check tickets when you're in where the seats are.
Your stadium pass does not allow you access to, and I quote, the bowl.
The bowl area.
Yeah, and so the bowl bowl is where the game is played, and you're not allowed in there.
As if you could get in there and just, find a seat that no one showed up for.
That's exactly right.
Well, that's if you're a fan and you never were just able to get a hold of tickets, I'm sure that's still cheaper.
Well, I tried to put this in my own context. I love Ohio State football.
Sure.
And so a chance to go into the Horseshoe and watch a game is usually a pretty great thing. It's been a couple years since I've done it. It's a lot of fun. But if you said to me, hey, Obadiah, $100 a month, you can come down and hang out at the stadium. You can get something to eat. You can wander around with all the other Buckeye fans. You can cheer. And then you can not come in and watch the game.
It's like you're just not good enough to get in.
The answer
and you have
to
to
that
pay
is,
for all the food.
Oh, yeah. It's not like you're paying $100 a month and it's free food in the stadium. This is just you paying $100 for the opportunity to purchase food in the stadium.
Sure. So that's the Golden State Warriors. They have a subscription service like Pass. So you pay $100.
They call it the In the Building Pass.
Mm-hmm. And thank you, Eric, for texting Thunder Up from the Oklahoma area.
Well, good for you.
I don't know. I don't think, if you were truly, truly a fan and you enjoyed that sort of stuff and you were into the social side of it,
it would have to be that.
It would be a lot of fun.
My problem is that, real talk, what I really, truly enjoy is sitting at home and seeing all the perfect camera angles. I'm telling you what, it's nearly impossible to beat sports at home. It just is. You got to think about that. For the cost of this $100 a month, you go out on Black Friday, you buy an 80-inch TV.
Yeah, for the money you're putting into that.
$100 a month, you pay it off in a year, get like a 12-month same as cash, which I don't normally advocate, but since we're talking about a monthly payment here, it's there. And boom, you've got better seats to those games than you'll ever get in your life. But
it's up to you.
That's just the way I think about it.
That's just up to you guys.
Thanks for listening to the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Oh, no! I missed it! Do it again!
You can hear us live every day on the RadioU network through the RadioU app or at riot.radiou.com.
You thought your dad was Santa, but he was actually an abusive jerk, just like all men.